So, if you already watched the last video I made, you already know what my next rant's gonna be on. But what's today's topic we're gonna be tackling? No, wait, we're gonna be tackling Nickelodeon, right? Oh, yeah, Nickelodeon. So we're gonna be ranting on a little show that, Nickelodeon made. One little show. It was made, 6 years ago, which would be in the year 2015, which was not a perfect year for them. If it weren't for, the two shows that it made. Oh yeah, this one. I forgot it even existed. No, let's go for the other one. The one I'll be talking about. There we go. Now, I have talked about this show on my old channel. But yesterday, I already watched one episode of this piece of shit, and I still do not fucking like this show. You could quickly see why. Which is exactly why I had to bring these out. As you know, this show is probably an example of how not to reboot. It's basically how to not fucking reboot a classic. Now, as you may know, I remember watching all, the Alvin the Chipmunks movies. I remember watching the Chipmunk Adventure. When I heard Nickelodeon was rebooting Alvin the Chipmunks, I was like, this is gonna fucking suck, is it? That's when I noticed they made the CG and, oh boy, there's a bunch of fucking problems with this. As in, this is not the type of show that would work in CG. At least 3D, I don't know. The other issue is probably, the design of Alvin, Simon, and Theodore. And the reason why I had to bring these here is because, this is what they're supposed to look like. But here, they don't look nothing like chipmunks. They really don't. Hey, at least I could give the Garfield show some credit. At least, it actually got the design of Garfield right. It's not a good show, but I could still give it some slack. At least it knows how the design of a character looks like. I could give it a bit of slack. A bit. Nothing about this show is Alvin the Chipmunks. It only has the name only. Seriously, after watching one episode of the show, I basically gave up on it. As you may know, I couldn't even watch the whole thing. It's that bad. Is it one of the worst reboots ever? No. But is it a good show? No. Hey, it's not one of the worst reboots ever. There's already way worse. I think this show is way worse than this show, but still not a good show. I can understand what Nickelodeon were trying to do. I can understand how they wanted to do their own version of Alvin the Chipmunk. Like I said in my Thundercats Roar reviews, if they can't make Alvin the Chipmunks, then why bother making Alvin the Chipmunks? Not to mention, like I said, the animation of this show, man, it's just so fucking ugly to look at. Not the worst, but it's just still bland. And of course, the characters. Which, of course, Alvin himself. It's like, Alvin, reprogrammed, Theodore's, teddy bear was a talking teddy, orders him to do shit, like, clean his room, or... Yeah, Alvin's a complete dick in this series. I kind of think Alvin in the show is probably a bigger dick than, Brian from the newer seasons of Family Guy, or even Stan from the newer seasons of American Dad. Probably think to myself, that's not Alvin. It's probably just, Brian Griffin, cosplaying as Alvin. And, the humor of the show, I really did not like the humor of the show. Basically, the humor of the show, it's just not funny. Literally, the fucking show itself, it's basically, a fucking parody. It's not Alvin the Chipmunks, it's just a parody, It's like a Robot Chicken sketch that keeps going and going and going. Or, something you see on Saturday Night Live. It's basically, to the point where the Alvin and Chipmunks franchise, the franchise itself became a fucking parody. And how this reboot managed to survive with, 5 fucking seasons baffles me. Overall, this reboot that Nickelodeon made basically has, Piss poor animation, unlikable characters, and funny humor is not really that fucking faithful to, the franchise that it was trying to reboot itself. It probably has no fucking reason to exist other than be an example of what not to do. No, the reason the show exists, money is not the reason. Okay, money is not really the fucking reason this time. I'm guessing, Nickelodeon, they rebooted TMNT back in 2012. And hey, that was good. And Hulu did the Animaniacs reboot, which was actually a great reboot. If those two shows can be good, why couldn't this? Seriously, why couldn't this be good? Hey, if it worked once, it can't work twice. I already know that, Nickelodeon tried, again to try to strike lightning in the bottle twice. They basically can't do that. Also, this might be another one of those shows that, got moved to Nicktoons, aka Nickelodeon's graveyard. So I'm surprised this show hasn't been put out of its misery yet. I was gonna give it a 0 out of 10, but just like with Duncanville, I have to give this show a 2 out of 10. And Nickelodeon, look, Nickelodeon, I kinda still don't trust you with that new Smurfs reboot, but hopefully that show would be good and it'll be better than this. Who am I kidding? I hope that Smurfs reboot's actually good. Please let it be good. Just please let the Smurfs reboot be good.